Vinylcommunity, I'm back to do a video, and this is going to be a little bit of a different one. Me and a buddy of mine had a listening session yesterday, so we played some music that is good and also sounds pretty nice. I've done some updates on my equipment, and we wanted to just test this out, see how it sounded. It's been 2 years since he was here, so I think that there was some improvements on the sound. I just wanted to show you what we played. I'm gonna start with the stuff that we played from my collection. We sat down 4 hours and had a coffee break in the middle. The stuff I played from my collection, and then I'm gonna cut in the stuff that he brought to play, because I don't have them here, but I'm gonna talk about them as well. So let's start. The first one, an obvious choice. I mean, come on. The original master recording of Canon Blue from 2015, limited to 10,000 copies, I think. Reissued last year, sold out. This is also sold out, getting pretty expensive. And I think that this is gonna get put out as one step or something like that. This sounds great, fantastic. I don't need another copy, sound-wise at least, but we're all insane collectors, so but it sounds great. Like, yeah. Next one is Dylan's Time Out of Mind, 1997. I think this was released, yeah. The press is from 2014. Produced by Daniel Lenoir, fantastic production. Now the sound is okay. It's let's say it's good, especially the music. But I think that there's a little bit to work with on the voice. It's a little bit too harsh at times, but that's just like a little bit too sharp. But that's just my opinion. Didn't want to play this at first, but then he brought another record, so we had to play this to compare. I'm gonna talk about that later. Yeah, modern jazz. Emil Brankvist Trio, Falling Crystals, fantastic record from like 5 years ago or something like that. A buddy of mine, Max, plays bass. They have made it pretty huge in Germany, and before COVID they toured a lot in Germany. Now this sounds good. Especially the drums. Emil Brankvist is a drummer, so the drums are almost like the voice of the record. Now the piano, which is great playing, is a little bit too sharp. But I mean, quality pressing sounds good. I wanted to play this for my friend because he needs this in his life. This is Ballers with Tom Waits' Orphans project. Or outtakes, I don't know what how to label it, but Ballers 2 LP set with, and this is the best set, the best 2 LPs in my opinion of the series. Long Way Home. The pressing quality and sound quality of this is fantastic, and I can't find who mastered this and where it was pressed, but I guess it's one of the big names, because it sounds so good, and it's mystery why they don't want to market that. Okay, we didn't play this, but I played it the day before and decided that I wanted to play it for my friend, but we didn't have time. This is Tom Petty's Wildflowers. This is from the box set that was released a couple of years ago, and it sounds great. I think it's mastered by Bernie Grundman and maybe pressed at Sterling. Oh, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but it sounds so damn good. I haven't compared it with the latest reissue, but I have no reason to buy the latest issue. I'm not that interested in the sort of outtakes of, you know, the spare disc. Another one that we didn't play, didn't have the time, but that is highly recommended if you want to test your equipment. Shades of Blue with Don Rendell and Iron Car Quintet. I mean, recorded in the 50s, and the soundstage is huge for being such a small jazz band. You get that sort of 3D feeling where you can almost hear the let's say the saxophone in the front of the speakers, and then the drums a little bit to left behind. It's that detailed, and if you close your eyes you can almost like touch the players. I don't know if that's what you call a natural sound, like it's almost like sitting in front of the stage live, but Jazzman has made a fantastic job on reissuing these. All of these that they put out with Don Rendell and Iron Car is recommended. We listened to this. I don't think my friend was that impressed. I love it. It's Jakob Dylan's Seeing Things, produced by Rick Rubin. You can really hear that sort of Rick Rubin American recordings with Johnny Cash, sort of personal and the closeness. And the pressing is good. It sounds great. Like nothing special, but it sounds great. I want to play this because the potential of this record is so damn huge, but I still need a better pressing of this. Jeff Buckley's Grace, fantastic. This is a pressing from 2010. Legacy. I think it's an ordinary 2010 like reissue, and the music sounds good. It's fairly big stage, very in front in the speakers, and if you listen to Love You Should Have Come Over with that guitar sound where you can hear the pick hit the strings of the guitar, it's so good. But as soon as he starts singing, it crackles. Like really, it's too much of S on it. And as we see, you can do good pressings with good voice. You don't need to but yeah, okay, rant over. I need a better pressing of that. Fantastic record. We picked this because my friend has this at home, so he didn't need to bring it, but it's sort of a reference, a guide, or I don't know, Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. We played Instant Crush, one of my favorite songs ever. It's so good, really. The next one, he immediately ordered this, and if you live in Sweden, you can go to Ginza and order this. It's in stock. You can order this 2 LP set for 159 crowns. I shit you not, one of the best recorded records you will have in your collection. It's Long Gone Before Daylight with the Cardigans. And I'm not a huge fan of Cardigans. I respect their work, but this album is a masterpiece. Great pressing, sound quality, music. This is the whole package. And for 15 euros, you can be the owner of this week. So yeah, but all you other people out there, highly recommended. Check it out, order it if you can. Moving on, we didn't play this either, but I had 2 records that I wanted to check out because of the bass. I think this has a good bass. Massive Attack's Massanin. The first song, Angel, has that sort of deep bass that it's not a thumping bass. I don't like that. Not the thumping bass. I like the bass where you almost feel nauseous because it's just like growing almost inside you. But we didn't have time to play that. I played that the day before. Now we did play this, and also for the bass. This is Mark Molin's, I don't know what it's called, Samphie, 1974, but it's a re-release from Music on Vinyl. I have number 140, so pretty low number there. I played the first song called La Soul, maybe, but I only played 3 minutes out of 6 because my friend said, this gives me nothing. So I turned off. But I love the bass on this, and I love the entire record. He didn't, but I love the bass on this. It's also that sort of growing thick bass. And last but not least, and this is one of my favorite records to check out the equipment, because the record costs almost nothing. You can find it anywhere. Just get yourself a good copy of it. You'd like to have a clean copy of this. But you can find them cheap, and it sounds fantastic, and there's so much to explore, and it's a classic. It's Abraxas with Santana, but I shit you not, when I did the upgrade of my equipment and I played this, I cleaned it, I played it, I haven't played it in years. It was like listening to a completely different record from start. I heard stuff that I've never heard before, and the respect was high to begin with, but it just grew. This is such a masterpiece of a record, and if you have good equipment, listening to a good equipment or headphones or whatever, but really you can hear that sort of stereo sound, it's to die for. Like one of those records that is to die for. So yeah, moving on to my friend's records. Okay, so as I said, I don't have his records here. He brought them home, but I'm gonna show them like here in this sort of space, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about them. He brought them because he think they sound good and the music is good, according to him at least. So what did he bring? He brought this. This is, and I'm reading now, Chris Jones, Roadhouse and Automobiles, I think from 2013, maybe. And this showcase how you are supposed to record sound, not sound, record sound, record voice and instrumentation, because the guitars sounds fantastic, but the voice, it's so damn clear. It's like the guy was sitting in the living room. If you're a country fan, check this out. It was a little bit too much country for me, but so it didn't go to the want list. But sound-wise, it was nice to have the opportunity to listen to it. The next one is this, and I showed you Time Out of Mind before. Time Out of Mind almost, in my opinion, sounds like or is Oh Mercy Part 2. Because it's Daniel Lanois also, but it's 1989. Now, my friend brought his new reissue of this, like 2018, 19, something like that, reissue of this. And it sounded good. And especially the voice sounded really good. I brought up my original press, European press from 89, and we compared the two, and that was pretty cool to do that. Now the sound stage was much wider on the original press, like much wider. In my opinion, a better bass and more details, like a better, all instruments sounded much better. But as soon as Dylan starts singing, you notice that like there's too sharp of S's, like every S is going through the roof. So I still need to find a press where you have the sound stage, the bass, and a good recorded or pressed voice, mastered voice. So still looking for that. If you have an affordable suggestion for me, write it down in the comments. Like affordable, not the MoFi, because that's going up in price now, but affordable. Write it down below. My friend is I should say huge fan of Andreas Volenbinder. And I've listened to some Andreas Volenbinder, but I haven't really sat down and listened, if you know what I mean. Now, he brought this Book of Roses and another one also, but I'm going to talk about this because it sort of blew me away. Now, the music is very classical, jazzy, progressive, definitely progressive. The production, it reminds me a little bit of the myth of the recording of Pet Sounds, where Brian Wilson almost went mad producing the record, and he wanted a horse into the studio to record, but he couldn't. This production sounds almost the same. They use, in one transition from one song to another, you can hear someone writing on a chalkboard, and that is transformed into a rhythm and becomes an instrument, like part of the instrumentation. Very innovative, and it sounds great. The production, pressing quality, everything is just to die for. And you can find Andreas Volenbinder records for next to nothing. This is a little bit more expensive because it came out in 1991. You know the deal. But everything else is like $1, $2, $3, something like that. Next one, Buddy Guy, born to play guitar. Standard blues. Buddy Guy, huge respect for the man. I'm not a huge blues fan, but it sounded good for being a blues record. Great pressing, great recording. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, the next one, Fiona Boyce, Professing the Blues, maybe. This is the quality. I don't know who pressed this or mastered this or released this. But it's the quality. Here's the brand. Can you see it? Here it is. Those guys have released it. The guitar and voice is recorded every instrument, everything on the record is recorded fantastic and pressed, mastered and pressed. Highly recommended for you guys that digs this sort of music. Check it out. The guitar picking is insanely good. Now, the surprise surprise of the evening was definitely this one, and it went to my want list right away. Like shit, 10 seconds into the first song, and it went to my want list. This is Malia Convergence with Boris Blank. Never heard of the artist, never heard of this record. It's labeled as future jazz. I don't know, but it's definitely modern electronic. But it's beautiful, like really, really beautiful. She sings great, and it's for being modern music, which I'm not so keen on otherwise. This was so good. Reminded me maybe a little bit of Björk, or Björk, as we say in Sweden, but much more soulful. Do yourself a favor and check this out. It's insanely good. So I hope to find a copy. The pressing, the mastering, and the pressing of this was a school example. Like her voice, everything, bass, mid-range, everything was just spot on. Just the best sound you could ever hear coming out of your speakers. The next one, Idiot Prayer by Nick Cave. Fantastic. Like, I've listened to it online, and I heard some songs from this now yesterday. Fantastic. But they market this as recorded in a huge hall, like a hangar of sorts. Like just him, his piano. And when I listen to it, it's recorded really, really close. And that's what you want, isn't it? From a Nick Cave record, just him and the piano really close, like he's there in your living room. But I really thought that you would hear the ambience of the hangar. I was really keen on hearing that piano and his voice with the acoustics of the environment. It's just like if you record a saxophone in a church, the way that saxophone sounds bouncing on the church's walls, just filling up the entire place, is beautiful. Beautiful. So if you place yourself with a saxophone in that sort of environment, and you don't record the ambience of the room, why bother going there at all? So I don't know if they did, if it's just a marking sort of thing, but a little bit more of the ambience of the room mixed in there would be nice. And the last one that I'm gonna talk about at least is Misplaced Childhood with Marillion. This is I think re-release from some years ago. A little bit compact in the sound, I think. I haven't compared it to my original press. It sounded a little bit compact, almost like a digital sort of mastering. But I don't know. Maybe that's the way it should sound. But I haven't played that much Marillion either, so I maybe I'm the wrong guy to sort of review the whole sound stage and the details of the instruments and stuff like that. But it's a great album. So it's a little bit of shame. I hoped for a little bit more, maybe. So I'm gonna clean my own original copy and see if it's a little bit better quality. But it sounded good. So I mean, now we're talking about if you listen in that way that we listen to, you get really picky. That's it. Hope you're doing well. Please comment if you have any questions, and if you're not a subscriber, get your shit together and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye. Oh yeah, and if you want to see more videos like these, you can pick this, or maybe, I don't know where this, like here or here somewhere, and keep watching this stupid Swede talk about records.